Well, that ending to the game sucked. Not gonna lie. That's a game that kind of really stings to lose after you make that dramatic comeback to tie it in the bottom of the ninth inning. You had to win it in the bottom of the ninth inning, though. You were screwed once you went into extras. You were very screwed. I don't understand the decision to bring Jose Alvarado back out there for the 10th when he clearly struggled in the top of the ninth. And then once you just went to Hernandez, you knew it was game over there. I'll give credit to the offense. The offense, they didn't die today. They mounted a great comeback down 7-1 in this ball game. Despite Ranger Suarez's pretty much disastrous return, he was very good in the first two innings. Then innings 3 and 4, just the wheels came off. Defense 100% did not help him whatsoever. A couple of bad throws from JT get by Trey Turner and Edmundo Sosa at second base, and they go to center field. That allows base runners to advance when they shouldn't have. And, some other defensive mistakes. You can even say in the top of the ninth inning, when Corbin Carroll grounds out to what should be a double play between Bryson Stott and Trey Turner. And you can also just say if Trey Turner can make it the throw and give yourself a chance to get Corbin Carroll out at first base, you probably have a double play there. And you're probably not in the situation to where instead of tying the game in the bottom of the ninth inning, you're probably winning the game in the bottom of the ninth inning. So even though I think on the Corbin Carroll play, I think he's safe regardless on the throw, but still, I'm not going to take it away from Trey Turner because the throw needs to be better. You need to give yourself a chance there to, basically that prevents a run from happening. And, even though you got the out at second base, Corbin Carroll then steals. They do a hit and run. Grichuk hits it to the right spot of the field, which allows Carroll, because Carroll's fast as hell, to score from first base, basically. It was just, it's also not also taking blame away from Jose Alvarado. Jose Alvarado just was not good. He was not good whatsoever. But other guys I'll give credit to in the bullpen, the other bullpen guys that came in after Ranger Suarez to basically keep you involved in the game when the offense was chipping away. That's Orion Kerkering, that's Matt Strom, that's Jordan Romano, that's Joe Ross. Those four guys did their job to allow you to at least be involved in the game for your offense to come back. Some other things that are takeaways from this game. Bryce Harper had a couple of hits. He also had a solo shot in this game, so maybe that built some confidence. He was also in the DH spot today, so maybe getting him off the field and off his feet in technicality stakes, maybe that just gave him boost his confidence a little bit at the plate. Hopefully he could just build off of that. Kyle Schwarber's home run in the ninth inning basically allowed you to continue on and give yourself a chance to tie the game up. You could definitely say that, oh, maybe that's a rally killer that he hits a home run, but nope. A solo shot. Castellanos, JT get on with singles. Alec Bohm blooper on the first pitch. I thought that was going to be disastrous, but it's a bloop single and a scores a run to tie the ball game up. Hey, you were doing some damage there against the guy from the bullpen from the Diamondbacks that had a 0 ERA. It just sucks because you had to win it in the bottom of the ninth. I think that's just what it was. You had to win it in the bottom of the ninth. Jose Alvarado coming back out for the bottom of the 10th inning. It just wasn't going to go well. It just was not. And then you bring in Hernandez. He just could not find the strike zone. Walks in a guy with the bases loaded. Just walking guys left and right, hitting guys left and right. It just wasn't going to work out. And they did make a fight in the 10th inning, too. They definitely did. It just wasn't enough. Was not enough whatsoever. I thought Bryce got into one in the left center field. It just died right near the warning track. Trey Turner gets on with the ghost runner. They do drive a run home. Kepler with a sac fly. Just wasn't enough at the end of the day. I won't take it away from the offense, even though it kind of does feel like in certain situations they left some meat on the bones. But I'll give them credit for making that comeback and making it a ball game again, even though your bullpen basically screwed you over at the end of the day. So that's the only thing that sucks there. So there's a ton of positives that you could take away from this, and there's a ton of negatives. And the main negatives are Ranger Suarez did not look good after the first two innings, and that's going to, fuel the arguments of why he should have gone to the bullpen rather in the rotation. Defense, once again, that's just always going to be a problem with this team. Trey Turner's not a shortstop. He's not a good defensive shortstop. As much as I defend his bat, he's not a good defensive shortstop. Even though he could make a spectacular play every now and then, he's mainly going to fuck up. And he did that a couple of times today. The couple of throws from JT from home plate trying to catch runners out. Those bounces go in the center field. That can't happen. Alec Bohm, a couple of defensive mistakes over at third base. There are just a lot of defensive mistakes today. And I'm very shocked that, one of those plays from Bohm was supposed to be an error, that they took the error away. I'm even surprised that those throws from JT weren't considered errors. That just goes to MLB scoring, to giving guys fucking leeway. That's just fucking ridiculous at the end of the day. It really just is. It really is. My God. My God. So you end up losing this game by a score of 11-9 in 10 innings. You still win the series, which is good at the end of the day, winning 2 of 3, but you actually 100% did have a chance to sweep this series, which does sting at the end. But I'm also going to take the positives from your offense not going down without a fight in this game, and there's definitely a lot to take away from that. It just sucks that the offense wasn't rewarded with a win, and that just goes down to your bullpen depth. And it also stings that Ranger Suarez wasn't able to go 5 innings in this ballgame, because I think Rob Thompson said that his innings limit, or not innings, his pitch count limit was around 80. And, you know, that 3rd and 4th inning really screwed him over. It really did. It just, the wheels just came off. The wheels came off from him. It wasn't the same Ranger from the first 2 innings. Allows 7 runs basically in the 3rd and the 4th. So if you look at Ranger Suarez's stat line, he goes 3 2/3 innings, 7 earned runs allowed, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts on 82 pitches. Yeah, the defense didn't help him out whatsoever. So some of those should be unearned runs, but for some reason MLB score sheeting and all that crap gives him earned runs and doesn't consider any of the other things errors. And then you look at the rest of the bullpen. Rest of the bullpen before the 9th inning, before you win the extras, was fine. Kerkering, he goes in an inning and a third. He walks 2 guys, but he manages to get out of his situations unscathed. Jordan Romano allows a hit, strikes out 1 on 15 pitches. Matt Strahm, 7 pitches to get his inning done and out of the way. Joe Ross, 10 pitches in the 8th inning, 1 strikeout, got his inning done and out of the way. Alvarado was not good. And that just also proves to the point that Alvarado's arm is going to be fucking putty by the All-Star break with the rate that you are using him. Throws 30 pitches again, 2 innings. He just wasn't good today. An inning and a third, 3 hits, 4 runs, 1 of those unearned because of the ghost runner and extras. 1 walk, no strikeouts on 30 pitches. He just could not find the strike zone in today's game, and when he did find the strike zone, it found a barrel. That's what it was. And then Hernandez, even though a run doesn't get charged to his stat sheet, he wasn't good either. Hits a guy, walks a guy. It just wasn't good enough. Wasn't good enough. In terms of everything else, both offenses just went off today. Diamondbacks had 12 hits. You had 14 hits. Looking at the lineup in totality, Trey Turner, he went 1 for 5 in this game. He almost went 0 for 6 if he didn't get that base hit in the extra innings, but wasn't a good day offensively from Trey Turner. Bryce Harper in the DH2 spot has a solo shot in the 1st inning. He also had another base hit in this game as well, but he goes 2 for 5 with a walk. Kyle Schwarber, his lone hit today was a solo shot in that bottom of the 9th inning. He also basically had a chance to win the ball game as the winning run at the plate in the bottom of the 10th inning, so sadly he wasn't able to come up clutch there. Nick Castellanos, he went 2 for 5. Brandon Marsh eventually came into the ballgame. He did not record a bat in this game. JT Realmuto, he goes 2 for 5 with an RBI. Alec Boehm, he goes 2 for 4 with an RBI. Sosa, he goes 0 for 1 with 2 walks and 2 runs scored in this game. Bryson Stott eventually came in the pinch hit. He goes 1 for 2. And he did also have a chance to win the ball game in the bottom of the 9th inning. He grounded out. Weston Wilson, he goes 2 for 5 with a 3-run shot in this game that basically brought you back involved in it, and that ball was fucking scorched. So he gets 3 RBIs on the day. Johan Rojas goes 1 for 3 with an RBI, and Max Kepler goes 0 for 1 with a sac fly. Phillies as a team, they go 5 for 10 with runners in scoring position. They left 10 runners on base. Weston Wilson, he went 2 for 2 technically with runners in scoring position. Bohm went 1 for 1, Harper 0 for 1, Castellanos 0 for 1, JT 1 for 2, Schwarber 0 for 1, Stott 0 for 1, Rojas 1 for 1. And the Diamondbacks, they went 6 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Perdomo basically just fucking killed you. He was their best hitter of the entirety of today's game. He went 4 for 5 with 3 RBIs and a walk. Same thing with Corbin Carroll. Corbin Carroll also killed you. He went 6 for 2 with 3 RBI. Grichuk 1 for 5 with that, hit against Alvarado in the 9th. Suarez, you kept him quiet. Naylor, he went 1 for 4 with an RBI in the 10th. Gurriel, he went 0 for 3 with 2 walks. Tawa, he went 1 for 4 with an RBI. Hampson went 0 for 1 with 2 walks. Thomas came in, he went 1 for 2. Herrera went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Their bottom of the lineup also killed you in this game. So it just wasn't a good pitching game from Ranger and the back end of the bullpen for today's game. It just wasn't good. Was not good. And you thought the game started off really well with Ranger Suarez in the first 2 innings. 1, 2, 3 innings in the first 2, 3 strikeouts. It was looking good. it was looking very good. And you also got a Bryce Harper solo shot in the bottom of the first to put you up 1-0. And then just once you get into that top of the third, the wheels came running off. Hampson walks, Herrera singles, so you got a first and third situation. Perdomo doubles, scores a run, ties the ball game. Then Carroll singles, which scores a run. So that happens. I'm not entirely sure if that was when the throws from JT went in the center field. I'm not sure if that was the third inning or the fourth inning. It doesn't say it here on ESPN. I just don't remember. So it's 3-1 Diamondbacks after 3 innings. Bottom 3 for the Phillies. After a Bryce Harper single and a Nick Castellanos double, nothing happens there. So you got a failed chance there with runners on. Top 4. Ranger gets the first 2 outs, and then all this stuff happens with 2 outs in the bottom of the lineup for the Diamondbacks. Tawa singles, Hampson walks, so you get first and second. Then Herrera doubles, which scores 2 runs, becomes 5-1. Perdomo reaches in on an infield single. Well, I think that was also a play that was botched by Alec Boehm. And then Perdomo stole second, and I guess they considered he stole third or something like that. I think one of those was one of the throws that went in the center field. I don't remember. Then no one was paying attention to third base. He stole third. Carroll then singles, which makes it 7-1. So it's 7-1 Diamondbacks after 4. Kirkering eventually comes into the ball game. He gets the final out of that inning. Bottom 4, the Phillies get 1 run back, I guess you could say. Sosa walks, gets the second on a pass ball. Then he gets an RBI single to make it 7-2. Rojas, that is. Top 5, Kirkering out there. Walks 2 guys in a row, but then he eventually gets an inning double play. Bottom 5, the Phillies go down 1-2-3. Top 6, Romano out there on the mound after a 2-out double. Nothing happens. Bottom 6 for the Phillies. This is when they come back into the ball game. Alec Boehm with a double. Edmundo Sosa with a walk. Diamondbacks decide to go to the bullpen. And then Weston Wilson battles in his at-bat. He's down 1-2 in the count. Then he fouls off a couple of pitches. And then just the perfect hanging slider right down the heart of the plate. And Wilson just crushes it. I mean, this ball was fucking smoked. You knew it was gone right off the bat. 3-run shot. It becomes a 7-5 Diamondbacks lead. So, hey, we got a ball game again. Top 7, Matt Strahm. 1-2-3 quick inning. Bottom 7 for the Phillies. Bryce Harper a leadoff walk. Then Schwarber flew out to deep center field, which allowed Harper to tag the second base. Castellanos then grounds out, but then JT with a huge single to make it a 7-6 ball game. Alec Boehm then strikes out, but then the ball gets away. So this is a stupid decision. This is also something that I forgot in this game. Base running decisions, also very stupid from the Phillies. Once again, they're not a very smart team with their base running decisions and a lot of things from this team. So Alec Boehm technically strikes out. Ball gets away from the catcher. Alec Boehm beats the throw out to first base, but then on that ensuing throw to first base, JT stutters at second, going around second base, and then all of a sudden he decides to hightail it to third base, and then originally it looks like he beats the throw, and you think maybe Suarez dropped the ball at third base, and then the Diamondbacks automatically challenged it, like basically instantly, so you knew he was out there, and then when you see on the replay, the ball just beat JT to the plate, and as the ball got into Suarez's glove, JT's noggin boinks right into Suarez's glove, basically applying the tag himself, and he's out at third base. So it was a very stupid running decision there by JT Realmuto. Very stupid. So that took you out of a situation right there. You can't be the final out at third base. You just can't. You just can't. You just can't. You just can't. Top 8 for the Diamondbacks. Ross out there. He gets a 1-2-3 inning. Bottom 8 for the Phillies. Stott with a leadoff single, but then Weston Wilson grounds into a double play. Max Kepler comes into the ballgame for Johan Rojas. He grounds out to end the inning, so sadly that was a quick inning for the Phillies bats. Top 9, Jose Alvarado out there on the mound. He gets the first out of the inning, but then Perdomo reaches in on an infield single. Should be an error on Alec Boehm. Didn't give him an error. He botted the ball at third base. Carroll then grounds into quote-unquote a fielder's choice. This was what should have been the inning-ending double play if, Trey Turner gives himself a chance on the throw. Looked like he tried to rush the throw coming off of second base to get that first out. Looked like he tried to rush it getting out of his glove. And then basically he spiked the ball going to first base. And you can definitely argue Carroll might have been safe regardless just because that's how fast Corbin Carroll runs. But you also have to give yourself a chance to even get the out. You didn't give yourself a chance to even get the out because you rushed the fucking play. So that's just another Trey Turner mistake there on defense. And it does come back to bite you in the ass because then with 2 outs... First pitch, I believe, Yeah, it was the first pitch. Corbin Carroll runs on the pitch, and then Grichuk just puts the ball where it's pitched. It's a sinker right down the middle of the plate, puts it in the perfect spot of the outfield, and it scores Carroll. So the Diamondbacks go up 8-6. Then you go bottom 9. Both Trey Turner and Bryce Harper strike out. Trey Turner, a very long at bat, strikes out swinging. Harper strikes out looking on a pitch right at the corner of the strike zone. So just two not good at bats right there. And then Kyle Schwarber crushes a solo shot. So you still have some life. Becomes 8-7. Castellanos, then he singles. Marsh comes in the pinch run. JT Realmuto then singles up the middle. So you get first and third, or first and second actually, for Alec Boehm. Swings at the first pitch, bloops it, just got enough to bloop it past the infield, and scores Brandon Marsh, which allows you to tie the game up at 8. Bryson Stott then up, grounds out, hit the ball hard, just right to the infield, right to the fielder basically, and you win the inning. And that is gonna sting because that's where you needed to win the ball game. It just really needed to be, because top of the 10th, oh my God, Alvarado out there, Naylor fighting in his at bat, singles the opposite way, which scores a run, and then a throwing error by Kyle Schwarber allows the runner to get to second base, basically. Gurriel then walks on, I believe, it was a full count. It was a full count. Then a sacrifice fly by Tawa. Well, actually, Naylor got the third base on a wild pitch by Alvarado. Then Gurriel walked. Then Tawa hit the sacrifice fly. Then Hernandez comes into the ball game. Thomas singles, so you got a runner on first and second. Moreno then gets hit by the pitch. Perdomo then walks with bases loaded. Carroll then strikes out, and then Smith flies out to end the inning. So, not good enough. Bottom 10. Wilson leads off that inning with a single, moves Bryson Stott over the third base, so you get first and third for Max Kepler. Hits a sacrifice fly on the first pitch, scores Bryson Stott. So it's 11-9 ball game. Trey Turner then singles in a very long at bat after fouling off a couple of pitches. So you get first and second for Bryce Harper. I thought he got all of this on the original swing. I thought he did, but it just goes right to the warning track in left center field. Easy out there for Alec Thomas. And then Kyle Schwarber with the final chance here, basically the winning run at the plate. Kyle Schwarber, long at bat, 3-2 count, grounds out. End the ball game. Phillies lose 11-9. That's a frustrating loss. Look, I will give the offense credit. I will give the offense credit. They did fight back. They did fight back. But it's just the little mistakes. The Alvarado not looking good. Ranger Suarez, disaster in the third and the fourth inning. Your bullpen depth. And realistically, Ranger Suarez not even able to go 5 innings in this game kind of screwed you over from that bullpen depth. Offense can only do so much. They fought back into the game, so they didn't die like they normally do. So I'll give the offense, like I said, there's a lot of positives that you could take, and there's a lot of negatives that you could take. That's what this team does. That's just what this team does. It's annoying. It's very annoying. And hey, like I said, I'll give them credit for fighting back because I thought they were dead to rights after the Diamondbacks made it 7-1. So I'll give them credit. Weston Wilson's 3-run shot that woke the ballpark up a little bit. They kept chipping back into it. So, and your other bullpen arms were giving you a chance. Like I said, with Kerkering, Romano, Strahm, and Ross, those guys gave you the chance. Just everything fell off the hooks when Alvarado came out there. I don't know why Alvarado looked as bad as he did, but it definitely wasn't the right call to bring him out for the 10th inning. That's also just a sign of desperation because you don't trust anybody else in your bullpen. Because after Hernandez came into the ball game, the Phillies had Taijuan Walker warming up. That shows you how many little bullpen arms they had left. Because now you also added Ruiz to the IL because you brought Ranger back into the roster. So Ruiz is on the IL. And you really don't have anything else. I guess Tanner Banks wasn't available for today's game. So I got nothing. I got nothing. It's the bullpen. Just you don't have bullpen depth. That's basically what it is. And yes, some guys have looked better than not, but when you bring Hernandez in, when your most reliable arm in Jose Alvarado struggles, that was just the writing on the wall there. It was. Granted, I would have preferred him not to come out for the 10th inning. I don't know why Rob did that. I guess I know you want to live and die by your best pitcher, but I would have rather even if you had to go to Hernandez, I would have rather Hernandez just come in, not in a situation where it already looks bad to make it even worse. If Hernandez blows up, he blows up. Don't force Alvarado out there to throw more pitches when he didn't look that good either way. I just don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Ugh, my God. They did win the series, so they did. They did. But you could have swept. Realistically, you could have swept. Realistically. Ugh, that's annoying. Very, 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 very annoying. Very annoying. You have an off day tomorrow, though, so we don't have to worry about this team for tomorrow. I even know, and yeah, I think with Ranger, because I see your comment right here about Julian about Ranger, and yeah, I do agree with most of the masses. I do think Ranger Suarez should have went to the bullpen. I just don't think right now with his body and the way that his body does fall apart, I just don't think he's good enough right now to be a starting pitcher. I'm not saying he's not talented enough to be a starting pitcher. His body isn't made for it. It just isn't. He's good as a bullpen arm. And if you put Ranger Suarez in the bullpen, he could probably give you 2 innings like he did in the first and second inning today. He could probably do that on a consistent basis. Because if you add Ranger Suarez to the bullpen, that's an extra arm that you need and an extra left-hander that you need. And Ranger, not able to go 5 innings today, really screwed you out on possibly using somebody else in the 10th inning besides forcing Jose Alvarado back out there or forcing Hernandez into the game. If Ranger goes 5 innings like he was probably projected to today, you probably leave Strom for the 10th inning. You probably don't use Hernandez. You don't use Alvarado. Maybe you go to Joe Ross. Maybe you save Jordan Romano for the 10th inning or something like that. I have no idea. That's just, it's a cause and effect type of thing. So Ranger just not being good enough, and Ranger is the one that should have went to the bullpen. Because I don't know what Taijuan Walker is going to be like in the bullpen. And I'm not saying that Taijuan Walker deserves to be in the starting rotation. He's been better than not. He's been better than not more times this year, but still it's very sketchy. But I think Ranger's more built to be a bullpen arm than Taijuan Walker is. That's what I'm saying right now. Ranger's more built to be in the bullpen. Just with the way that his body always falls apart. He's built to give you 1 or 2 innings out of the bullpen. He could be your long reliever type of guy, or he can come into a situation where you really need him to pitch. That's what Ranger Suarez should be right now. If you could put him, he could be your Swiss Army knife guy in the bullpen. The Phillies don't have that. They don't have that. And Ranger can be that. And I wish they would realize that, but I don't think they do. Oof. I don't know. I do not know. Yeah, it could definitely be a Scott Boras thing. Scott Boras could definitely be forcing this thing in Ranger Suarez's free agent year to, hey, I don't want my guy in the bullpen. I want my guy starting. That definitely could be a thing because Ranger Suarez did switch to Boras during the offseason. So that definitely means that he's trying to get paid. And you definitely know that Ranger Suarez is most likely hitting free agency with Scott Boras as his client, or as his agent, basically. That's 100% asking. So, I don't know. I guess you can also say the benefit is that the Mets lost earlier today in the first game of their doubleheader, and they're playing right now against the Cardinals. They're losing 2-1, but that's definitely not guaranteed. You get swept in the doubleheader. That just doesn't happen. It was definitely very weird today with the rain as well, because the rain was coming down a lot today, and I'm surprised they didn't delay the start. I thought they should have, but I guess they found a pocket, and I guess it didn't rain as badly as it looked. I was there. I was covered the entire time, so it didn't really matter to me, the rain. I just, if it's raining and you have some pockets later in the day, why don't you just wait? You know what I mean? Ugh, that's just annoying. Very, very, very annoying. Very annoying. What else is there? Trying to see if there's anything else. If there's anything from post game, if there is anything from Rob Thompson or something like that, just talking post game. They're definitely going to hang on the positives for today's game. I don't really see much from Rob or anything from post game Phillies wise. I might have missed something just because there's so much other stuff on Twitter. Just trying to see if there's anything else. No. I don't see anything. No, I don't. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Nope, 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 nope. So, team has the off day tomorrow, and then they go on the road this week to play Tampa Bay and the Cleveland Guardians. And we all know what Cleveland did to us last year. Not good, even though they did get complete gamed by Trevor Phillips. So, there's also something there. Tampa Bay, they are a below 500 team, if I'm not mistaken. But I believe they've been playing the Yankees very good this series, but it's also the New York Yankees. They always have up and down weird things. But Tampa Bay, so far this year, they're 16 and 18 after winning a series against the New York Yankees. And just looking at their pitching matchups for this weekend, it's going to be Zach Wheeler against Drew Rasmussen. He is 1-2 with a 2.64 ERA. Gave up 3 earned runs to the Royals in his last start, and then 4 runs to the Diamondbacks in his previous start, so he's getting up 7 earned runs in his last 2 games. Tyler Phillips, not Trevor Phillips. Yeah. I just realized that. Then it's going to be Christopher Sanchez on Wednesday against Shane Baz. Shane Baz is 3-1 with a 3.86 ERA. His last start, he got blown. So this is what his starts have looked like in his past 3. Against the Yankees, he went 3 1/3 and allowed 5 earned runs. Against the Padres, he went 7 innings, no earned runs. And then against the Kansas City Royals, he went 5 2/3, allowed 7 earned runs. So very up and down, so that probably means he's going 8 innings scoreless. Then Christopher Sanchez obviously is on the bump, but then Jesus Luzardo is on Thursday against Ryan Pepiot. Pepiot's 2-4 with a 4.23 ERA. Overall, I'm not threatened by the Tampa Bay Rays. They're not that good of a team. Their pitching is probably decent, but it's a series theoretically that you should win. We'll just see if they keep it up. Then you got the Cleveland Guardians series this weekend. It's going to be Aaron Nola on Friday, looking to continue on his strong stretch right here, going up against Gavin Williams. Gavin Williams, he is 2-2 with a 5.06 ERA. Very young pitcher. And then Ranger Suarez on Saturday going up against Tanner Beebe. Tanner Beebe, he's 3-2 with a 4.26 ERA. And then on Sunday, it's Zach Wheeler on Sunday Night Baseball against Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz, he is 2-3 with a 4.78 ERA. So we'll see where that goes. And then after that series, they have on another home stretch against St. Louis and Pittsburgh, and then blah, 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 blah. The rest of the schedule. Blah, 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 the rest of the schedule. So I'll get to some of you guys here in the chat, and then I'll also get to guys in the voicemail section. We have 3 voicemails today. So, good for that. So, let's get to the voicemail line. Let's get to Steven's call. We got Steven, Sean, and Zach in here. Let's get to Steven's.
Hey, Amadeo. It's definitely time to end the Carlos Hernandez experiment.
Yes.
The guy's just not good. I mean, anytime he comes into a game where the Phillies aren't up by 5 or 6, it's panic mode for this fan base. Because the guy just cannot get through clean innings. I don't think he's gone through one clean inning this year at all. That's just a disaster. Like, they're so much better. They're so much better in the minor league system. And I would have just kept, to be honest, Ruiz up. Now, Ruiz isn't perfect, but I think Ruiz is better than Hernandez.
Well, Ruiz
You
got
probably would have won that game if Hernandez did not blow it there. Now, I'm not saying Alvarado was perfect, but Hernandez coming in and giving up those runs, I mean, it really just killed the vibe of that potential comeback they had going. I mean, you take 2 or 3. I mean, I really, really do appreciate what they did in this series. Kyle Schwarber is just, oh my, he is so amazing, dude. I mean, Bryce hit a home run today, so that's a good thing. I mean, Trey had 1 hit. He didn't have really a great game today, but that's about it, man. Hopefully they can go and sweep the lowly Rays.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But to your point about Ruiz, Ruiz is on the IL. That's why he wasn't available. He's on the 10-day IL. But yeah, to your point, there definitely are better options in the minor leagues. I think actually they're putting. Who was the kid that they got from the trade with the Orioles last year, where they sent Greg Soto? Was it Seth Johnson? Seth Johnson, I think his name was. I think they're putting him in the bullpen down in Lehigh Valley. They've been testing him in the bullpen down there, so that might be something for the future. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, Lehigh Valley has been having a lot of good guys in their bullpen. I mean, the guy they signed from Japan, I believe he has a sub-2 ERA, near a sub-1 ERA. He's been very good down there. And granted, the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs have been very good this season, so it's probably one of the best constructed Lehigh Valley teams in Phillies franchise history. The Otto Kemp guy just continues to mash the baseball, and a lot of people want him to come up. So that definitely, I mean, it wouldn't hurt. But where does Otto Kemp even, does Kemp play third base, or does he play the outfield? I think he plays third base, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, honestly, it would be better right now than Alec Boehm, personally. It would be. But, yeah, they do have some guys down in the minor leagues. I don't know. I don't know. Let's go to Zach's call before we get to Sean's. Let's go to Zach's call. And Zach left a call that was below 2 minutes. Record. Zach.
Well, that was certainly an interesting baseball game. All in all, I was happy to see Ranger Suarez get back on the mound. He looked pretty good to start, and then it all kind of fell apart because he gave up 7 runs. Hey, Bryce Harper finally kind of snapped out of it and hit a home run to the opposite field. That was good to see. In this game, at a certain point, I was considering turning it off. I kind of had it on as background noise. And then I hear Weston Wilson hits a 3-run shot, and I'm sort of back in watching it, JT's been swinging a good bat as of lately. Good to see that. And, they got down there 7-5 in the ninth. And they fought back. Kyle Schwarber with the blast after he tried to bunt, which was comical.
Forgot about that.
And then Bomer with the blooper. And it was nice to see him tie it up. I thought, or was it 8-7 at that? 8-8, whatever it was.
He tied it.
Jose really got stretched in those extras, and I'm starting to really worry about him. Not necessarily because he struggled today, but because the pitch count, the innings are really getting up there. And, I'm not going to put too much of the blame on him when he's out there throwing 30 pitches damn near every appearance. So bullpen help is an absolute need. But they got the series win, and they're playing a lot better baseball these last couple series. So happy for that. On to Tampa Bay. Win another series. Go Phils. Peace.
Yeah, to the point about Alvarado, I am very concerned about Alvarado just in general for the future of this season. His arm is going to be fucking putty by the All-Star break with the rate they're using him. It's going to be fucking putty. He's pitching 20-plus almost every outing. They forced him to go 2 innings when he shouldn't have today. If they don't figure out something with the bullpen move soon, or just call another guy up to just put in that bullpen that you can trust, his arm is going to be fucking putty. You might be blowing out his arm. It's not going to be pretty. And that's on Dave Dombrowski. That's on Dave Dombrowski for not shoring up this bullpen and making him and Matt Strahm, the only reliable guys in the back end of the pen. Now, maybe Jordan Romano figures it out. He's been having a lot of better outings than not. Basically, his last poor outing was the appearance against Miami. Really, basically, that's like the lone blip on what's been a really good stretch for Romano, so hopefully he can fully figure it out and become a reliable arm for you. But still, it's not enough. You need something to leave the tension off of Alvarado's usage, because he's just being used way too much. Way too much. It's just, his arm's going to be putty. It's not a good stretch of what you're putting him through. It really just isn't. Last caller here with Sean, and then we'll wrap it up with some of you guys here in the chat.
Tough one today. I give the Phillies credit for coming off the deck. You're never out of a game at Citizens Bank Park if you can get runners on. That was proven today. But the rule of thumb in extra innings is you're most likely going to give up 1, but if you give up 2 to 3 to 4, you're pretty much dead. And that's what happened today. I mean, the bottom line is Ranger Suarez, not very good. Jose Alvarado, not very good. And Carlos Hernandez, never good. Those 3 guys pretty much cost you the game with their inability to get hitters out. You score 9 runs at home, that should be enough to win you a game, but it wasn't today. Now you go on the road to Tampa and face that pitching staff. It'll be interesting to see how the Phillies respond. You're kind of left with what if. You kind of feel like there was meat on the bone there today, especially when they tied it in the 9th to try to get the sweep. But not to be. Let's go Flyers in the draft lottery tomorrow in closing. Let's just end up not worse than we're seeded. That's all I care about.
And yeah, Sean, we're gonna have a. I am planning on live streaming during the draft lottery tomorrow night, so you definitely could stay tuned for that. But yeah, I do think from this series, because if you look at this series in totality, Friday you definitely stole that game with Kepler and Schwarber solo shots to give you the lead, and your bullpen did hold down the fort down there. Yesterday, your offense basically stole the show, and your pitching was very good. Aaron Nola with another gem, basically 2 gems in a row for him, so that led you to a series win. I do think you can take the positives offensively from this series. I don't think you should take all the negatives from this game and just look at this game entirely negatively. There's a lot of positives that you could take away from, especially when you're just coming back down from 7-1 and then ending up tying the game. It's just your lack of bullpen depth is really what cost you in the end. And forcing Alvarado out there in the 10th and not having anybody else available besides Hernandez there. And yeah, you can also throw Ranger into the blame right there for not able to go 5 innings, because that probably screwed up your bullpen usage from there. You weren't able to use another high leverage arm. You used your high leverage arms to keep you involved at least. So it is what it is. I will take the positives offensively from this series, and just hopefully they can build off of that and find some confidence, especially with Bryce's today. Hopefully that home run and that single really just, spark some confidence to him, especially since it was an opposite field home run. That's really crucial for Bryce, that he's able to use the entire field. So we'll see where it goes. Schwarber's still a beast. Trey Turner, he's going to have his... He's been hitting a lot more and getting on base a lot more. Today definitely wasn't that example of it. But still, I need way more extra base hits from him. At this point, we know what he is defensively. It's not good enough. He's not a shortstop. He's more of a second baseman than not. And that's basically it. JT had a really good series overall. Castellanos is Castellanos. He'll have his good moments. He'll have his bad moments. Bohm, I just hope he finds a way to improve. He did have a double in today's game, and he did have the tying run. We'll just find out. Weston Wilson, I think he will be an important bench bat for you, but he had the huge 3-run shot today, so we'll see where that goes. We'll see where it goes. Kepler was really good in this series again. We'll just see where it goes. Like I said, many positives to take from the offensive perspective, but still, it's still a work in progress. That's what it is. It's a work in progress. 3 series wins in a row. You take that any day of the week. We'll just see how they take that into this road trip. That's the really most crucial thing right there. So, some of you guys here in the chat. Yeah, the bullpen. Yeah, the bullpen was basically the major thing. A corpse is better than a Hernandez. I do agree with that, Julian. I do agree with that. Oh, man. But, yeah, that's probably where we're going to end it for today. So, like I said, for tomorrow night, since there is no Phillies game, we're probably going to live stream during the NHL Draft Lottery just to hope the Flyers win it. I'm not holding high hopes for that, because when I just look at the percentages, I'll explain more tomorrow, but when I look at the percentages, the Flyers are most likely to move back or move up rather than stay in the 4th pick. That's just where it looks like. So we'll see. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. So don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does me a great deal of service. Use the code TTPSPORTS. $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Great deal. Do not pass it up. And also follow at TTP Sports on TikTok and Instagram. So thanks, guys.